the Arrowverse show that redeemed itself. You know I love me some Flash, man. So it's about to be a good video. Hey, if y'all watching us on YouTube, make sure y'all join the Discord so y'all could get updated when I'm live and shit like that. Alright, let's get right into this.
The Arrowverse started its incredible journey 13 years ago when Arrow was released. Green Arrow commanded the screen and introduced the lovable Barry Allen, who eventually got his own show, The Flash, my personal favorite. When Season 2 of The Flash aired, it crossed over with Arrow with a two-part arc on Vandal Savage and the Hawk People.
Miss my show.
Thus creating what I think was the greatest superhero show to exist. DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Now, it's a bit of a stretch to say it's the best, but compared to every single show in the Arrowverse, it never declined in quality.
Tell him that we're not like his parents, and neither were his friends.
I stopped watching Arrow at Season 5, with a decline noticeable in Season 3 and very obvious in Season 4. I stuck to The Flash for all 9 seasons because of numerous factors. My dad and I bonded over the show as it was airing, starting with Season 3 or 4, I can't quite remember. But bias aside, The Flash started to fall off in Season 4, picked back up in Season 5 and the first half of Season 6, and had a rapid decline in quality starting in Season 7.
Some shit like that.
Legends of Tomorrow had a rocky start. My younger mind was amazed by all the fight scenes, travel locations, and awesome characters they added in the Wave Rider.
Well then, we can be on our way.
But Season 1 was trying to be too much like Arrow.
I had it handled. I like how you actually believe that.
Before we get on with the rest of the video, I started my Legends of Tomorrow journey when Season 3 was airing live. Season 1 started with Rip Hunter, played by Arthur Darvill, assembling a team of misfits, neither heroes nor villains. I quite enjoyed Season 1.
I don't think I watched Season 1 at all. That Season 1 was, I think I skipped that whole thing. Just went right to Season 2.
I binged it on Netflix, loving how each episode was at a different location and theme, unlike Arrow or The Flash, where their storylines would drag on for 22 to 23 episodes. Season 1 in my eyes has more pros than cons, but compared to the rest of the series, it's one of the weakest. The overall tone of the show didn't fit its characters. Captain Cold was snarky, Mick Rory is dumb, Ray Palmer is this lovable dork, Sarah Lance was a cold assassin, Rip Hunter was a mischievous leader, Martin Stein and Jax had a father-son relationship, and the Hawk People were trash. I did not care about Hawkman or Hawkgirl at all during the season. The characters didn't fit the tone the show was hinting at. A dark but really good moment was when Rip Hunter was going to kill a kid in order to stop Vandal Savage's rise to power. This was something the Legends probably would never even consider post-Crisis. Since it was Season 1, they probably tried to hold on to the Flash and Arrow theme where they would have one villain and drag it on for the next 16 episodes. There were way too many moments where Vandal Savage could have been killed, but for some reason he kept getting away. Some of my favorite moments in this season are the entire opening of the first episode.
And because if you don't follow me, this is what is in store for your world 150 years from now. I could have chosen any time and any place. Of all the people who ever lived, I chose you 8.
The Wave Rider going to Star City in 2046, Ray, Hawkgirl, and Sarah getting stranded in the 50s, the first Wild West episode, a setting that would occur throughout the entire series. Everything else in this season was decent at best. Again, a big con of the season was it focused too much on Vandal Savage and no episode could really hold its own. Season 2 started to get a good balance between episodic and serialized adventures. Each episode is fun and good in its own way, but it gets to an overall point. Instead of one villain that could have been captured as early as episode 3 or 4 in Season 1, Season 2 reintroduced the Reverse Flash, an enemy seen in The Flash, and 2 enemies from Arrow, Malcolm Merlyn and Damien Dark.
This is what I ain't gonna lie, I remember this. I was so man. These shows was my childhood, so.
In my honest opinion, both Damien and Malcolm aren't evil villains. Not as evil as the Reverse Flash, at least.
Do any of these flashing screens actually do anything?
Focus, Damien.
Ooh, so I get a necklace myself.
If I may, you might have more luck if you talk about your hobbies.
They banded together to create the Legion of Doom, a hint of the Legion of Zoom in the comics. The Legion of Doom was trying to get the Spear of Destiny to rewrite not only time, but to rewrite the universe. Season 2 introduced Sarah as Captain of the Wave Rider, one of the best decisions the show ever made. Already from the first episode, she's no longer this cold assassin. She takes leadership and she actually cares for her group. The rest of Season 2 showed the legends in numerous time periods dealing with the American Revolution, King Arthur's Round Table, dinosaurs, and Ray Palmer going to the moon, all back to back. Something that a new show in their first season probably couldn't do. Season 2 also introduced Nate Haywood. In my honest opinion, Nate Haywood was one of the best characters the show ever included, especially as the seasons went on.
How Mr. Mix-a-Lot got his knighthood.
Sir.
Guys, a little professionalism, please.
Now, Season 3 is when The Legend of Tomorrow ended. There is no turning back from here. The show is about to change forever. But for the better. For a show about misfits traveling through time, they took it way too seriously in Season 1, and even some parts of Season 2. No sane person would actually be super serious traveling through time, let's be honest. Season 3 introduces the Time Bureau, a serious government organization that Rip created 5 years in the future. He created it because the Legends broke time in the Season 2 finale. Season 3 masters the episodic episodes of the show, and stops with the serialization and the overall villain. From here on out, the Legends don't have one villain they have to defeat. Each episode has its own villain per se, and each episode, each character has to deal with their own demons. Take Rory for an example. He goes back to the Vietnam War and meets his dad, someone that he let die in a burning fire that he created. He hated his dad. But in this episode, he understands that his dad was just broken from the war. Vietnam was a terrible time in American history. And he didn't excuse his father for his behaviors, but he understood, or as much as Mick Rory could understand things.
Take the new girl, fine blondie, fake snart and trench coat. Amaya, the med bay. Pretty, the library. Want a bitch? Stays in the freezer.
This season, they are worried about a demon named Malice. Wait, no. Is it Mollis? Mollis.
We don't do
Malice.
demons.
But the show is able to juggle multiple storylines. They had Damien Dark and his daughter Nora Dark, who gets friendly with Ray Palmer. Amaya has her own storyline going on with her granddaughter, the Water Witch, and her totems. Kid Flash joins the show and he and Zari bond on the ship. Ava Sharp, a clone from the future, and Sarah Lance start their romance and form a relationship that'll last the rest of the series. Season 3 also features one of the saddest deaths of the whole Arrowverse, when Martinstein died due to the hand of Nazis on Earth X.
Thank you, Jefferson, for the adventure of a lifetime.
When Martinstein died, Jax knew it was his time to leave the Wave Rider.
I hope your life is long and full of love. Just as mine.
Season 4 introduced the magical element and adds in John Constantine. Season 5 brings
can't take
people
that
from hell back on
serious,
Earth and has an entire serial killer episode with a kid named Freddie Myers. Season 6 adds in aliens and turns Sarah Lance into an immortal alien. And Season 7 has the Legends for the first ever time. Has them stuck in one time period for almost the entire season.
Damn!
Some of my personal favorite moments in the show are Firestorm's bond, father and son relationship dynamic duo, Sarah Lance and Ava Sharp romance, two fierce captains, Ray Palmer and Nate Haywood's bromance.
This totally sucks. But I love you too.
Good night. Good night. Parting is such sweet.
Mick Rory's overall character development, learning he doesn't need to hate everyone and can actually make friends. One of the best things in this show was when he started to write romance novels. He eventually gets a daughter and learns to be a father. He still robs though, that's how the Legends get their money. Martinstein's acceptance of his daughter. He never wanted kids in fear he'd be like his own dad, but when he meets his younger self in Season 1, he says to get closer with his wife. 2 seasons later in Season 3, he gets a daughter because of a change in the timeline. It takes some time, but he eventually accepts her. The rotating cast of characters. No one is a legend forever, nor do they want to be. The only original cast member from Season 1 all the way to Season 7 is their captain, Sarah Lance. Nate gets an honorable mention, but he leaves a couple episodes before the finale. Rip Hunter's sacrifice in Season 3
See my wife and son again. I will miss you, Captain Lance. You and the rest of the legends. My one hope is that you all live up to that name.
After we've learned that Rip Hunter is a very selfish and manipulative person, he lied about the fact that Ava was a clone. He lied about the fact that the legends are not heroes. He put them under the pretense that in the future they are something big, but in his reality and in his future, his timeline, they're nothing. Gideon becoming more human as the series goes on, which is explained in the 100th episode. Rip makes Gideon learn from the legends, and says that saving the timeline isn't the most important thing in the world.
In this prison, you were what saw me through. Just as you have guided me to safety through all our years on the ship.
That is my purpose, Captain.
Overall, in this great show that has hundreds of themes, lovable characters, I only have 2 disappointments for the show. In season 6, they made John Constantine unbearable with his need for his magic that he had lost. Once he found this mythical tree, he basically became fertilizer.
Yeah, what?
Later on, John seems to not actually be dead, and he gives Zari 2.0 a key that'll help him in season 7. And my last disappointment is that the series didn't get to have a finale. It was cancelled by the CW before it could have a proper finale. An episode in season 7 showed the legends their lives in the future and what could come. Sarah Lance and Ava Sharp saw that they had a daughter. I'd say Legends of Tomorrow is one of the best shows to handle inclusivity while creating fun episodes, and each episode has its own theme. That's what makes the Legends of Tomorrow different from the rest. It's a show for everyone. They have historical, present, and futuristic episodes. They have an ensemble cast that has a personality for everybody. And if we were to take one thing away from the series, is that it wasn't afraid to evolve and change for the better. And for what was learned in season 1 that the legends were nothing,
Hell of a good time doing
for the next 7 seasons,
To be alive.
And to be a legend.
they showed that they truly were the legends of tomorrow.
I should very much like to see my wife and son again.
And friend, please forgive me.
That dramatic ass ending. W video.